Welcome back to Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. We're gonna spend the night at the inn. Just to show this off, we're gonna show off the bronze room. If we only want to sleep, this room will be fine. Sure, that sounds great. All I want to do is sleep. Oh. Oh, I see.
Couldn't even anything bronze in here.
Alright, well then, I mean, he wasn't mad at me for choosing the bronze room, so I guess that's nice. It is what it is. So, before we begin today's episode, stayed at the inn, and we're actually going to show off one of the idle animations of this game. Every character has one. They take a minute to proc, though. Kinda have to be waiting here for a bit. I mean, that's why it's called an idle animation. There we go. Goemon just gets real impatient when he goes into his idle animation. He hates this.
For a Kabuki actor, that's really understated. You'd think they'd go all in with the whole Kabuki connection Goemon has.
Alright, so, with that done though, we've got a new area to move on to, the Chugoku Region. So, there is going to be so much to explore here, thanks to this child, who apparently escaped the Flake Gang's place. Who closed that door? Ah, of course, the safety stopper system. Anyway, why were you kidnapped? Maybe it's because my name is Dancing All Night.
No, that's why you get bullied at school.
Maybe Dancing just does not like anybody else sharing a name with him. Alright, so, starting out in Bison. Like I said, there are so many weird interconnected areas that it's kind of confusing to navigate, but we got a bunch of areas we want to visit this time around. We've also got these doors with cracks in them. We'll be able to open those soon, which is good because there's a bunch of them. Also a pretty catchy theme here. I don't like this one as much as the one earlier, but, you know, it's pretty good.
So, the Chugoku region during the Sengoku era, that's one of the regions I have, like, a very limited knowledge of. It was... At the point Goemon was active, I think it would have been controlled by the Mori. At the beginning of the era, the Mori had to fight to take control of it, primarily against the Amigo clan, and there is a person who is, like, a Japanese mythological figure for fighting to restore the Amigo clan after it got destroyed. Anyways, game mechanics. For some reason, I thought you were going to talk about the being small.
I mean, we're just doing this for getting that fortune doll over there. Just gonna nab this. I love that they don't make you regrow as a Bisamaru. You can just... He still has his animation when he's tiny, and I think that's great.
Let's see. I think this would have been around the point where one of the, like, parables, little stories that the Mori are known for would have happened by this point. I think it was Motonari Mori had 3 children or grandchildren that he was going to lead the clan to. He gave each of them an arrow, asked them to break it. They did, and then he took 3 more arrows, tied them together, and asked them to break it, and they couldn't. And that was his way of saying, you 3 need to stay together, or you're going to die.
Very good lesson, straight to the point. Anyway, that jump back there sucks, and that's why I had to edit it. The camera does not help right there. It would otherwise have been a fine jump to do. But yeah, the camera just does not want to cooperate until it does.
Anyways, all that to say, will we be seeing any of the Mori in this game?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they could have made an odd appearance. I can't discount that, but we don't.
We're probably far enough in the Goemon games that they're not going to call upon historical figures anymore.
Mhm. Alright, so this little, seaside area, I guess, is just mostly here to get to, Silver Fortune Dolls, so there's a fair bit to collect, and it's a cool area to explore, but we're not gonna be here for long, because it's otherwise not terribly useful. Alright, now, let's see if I can remember. I think this is like the grasslands area we're about to enter? Yeah, let me see, where are we? Nope, it's Hoggy. Alright, so this is just a neat little, like, town action area. Like, there's no actual town stuff, there are no villagers here, it's just a town where we fight enemies, but, you know, I say this is a weird loop of areas, but I will give them a, oh my god, skills, it jumped, amazing. Anyway, this is a weird loop of areas, but, like, they're all distinct areas is the thing. At the very least, you can remember, like, I don't know why I love them jumping over Ye so much. Anyway, they're very distinct areas, and it's actually pretty cool, I think, that, like, they just have these distinct areas that don't particularly matter in the grand scheme of things. They're just more action areas to kind of explore. The main issue is pretty much if you don't have a guide or, like, a path you know you want to go through, this general area is kind of a pain to navigate, and it's really difficult in general to figure out what you have to do, so this is a good point to go back to the fortune teller and see if he has anything to say to you. Alright, so Izumo has a coffee shop. We definitely want to enter this one so that we have a shortcut to just the middle. I saw it! But yeah, it's good to have a checkpoint in the middle of this region. Alright, yep, an oasis, I see. Alright, well, an electro tube sounds pretty useful. So, now we've got a bit more of a tangible goal in this region. There are electric tubes. What do they do? Who knows? But we want to find a desert. Oh, and get hit by an enemy. So that we can see what that electrical tube is. Because honestly, we have no other leads right now. We could visit the fortune teller, and I would suggest you do that, but I don't want to. Okay, so Izumo is actually a pretty big open area, but to find where you want to go, just stick to the pathway. That'll lead you to the dunes.
The dunes.
Yep.
You know, the deserts of Egypt? Or the... Fuck.
Yeah, the famous Inaba Desert.
I said Egypt instead of Japan, damn it. The deserts of Japan was so stupid a phrase, I wouldn't even say it without immense effort.
It's alright, I also just consume too much JoJo. Anyway, though, I will say, pretty good song here. Like, this is probably the closest this game gets to eerie music. It's very distinct from the rest of the soundtrack, but still very cool. It's just a shame that you're really not going to hear this song much, because the dunes are expansive, as you might have noticed from the mini-map, but there's really only one thing to do here. Well, two, technically speaking, because there's a silver fortune doll. But there's only one thing you need to do. Whoop. How did you survive underwater? Alright, so, over here we've got the Silver Fortune Doll. Very nice. And that's one more heart for us. Excellent, good. And so, here is the Electro Tube, which is actually Sasuke's #1 battery. We got his favorite one, why can't we revive him? Alright, well, I guess I might as well just show off the rest of the... well, not the rest of the map, but another path through it. It's very exciting, you know. Different path through the dunes. Mostly I just want an excuse to keep the music on for a little while longer, because it only plays here. It's just an area, it's just a bit of music completely unique to an area you only have to visit once. And is probably one of the otherwise less interesting themes in general, because deserts aren't usually super interesting. I mean, it's distinct for this game, so I guess it has that, but out of everything I would want to explore if I were younger and not doing an LP of this game, I'm pretty sure the Inaba Dunes would be pretty low.
Is that the first thing you've slid down?
I don't think so. I think I've slid down a couple of hills, but it doesn't happen too often. For example, you would think this mountain right here you would slide down. It looks pretty steep, but nope. You can climb this one. Now, thankfully, the next point we have to go to, we haven't had a hint towards, I don't think. But it's the only other place we can really go to right now, and it's right next to the desert. The famous Japan desert.
The lake with a large tree.
Yep. Very distinct landmark. The game tells you what it is. It's a lake with a large tree. That's all you need to know. So we've got a small platforming section, and I don't know, kind of a rude puzzle. Not really a puzzle so much as you would think there would be something on top of this tree, right? But there isn't. Well, I want there to be something on top of this tree, so let's switch to Abysamaru and take a picture of the lovely scenery. That reveals the second battery.
Oh, that's mean.
Like, it's kind of a dick move, but at the same time, like, I actually hadn't looked at the walkthrough specifically for that, but I immediately remembered what I had to do for this, so as long as you remember you have the camera, you're fine. Though that being said, I personally would not fault you for forgetting something in your toolkit that you know, you might not be using constantly. I've been there.
Having flashbacks to the Caramel Man fight.
Yep. So, here's Sasuke. Now that we've got his batteries back in him, he's up and raring to go. So, what did happen? He was with Wise Man, but unfortunately there's a glitch in Sasuke's memory circuit, probably because he blew up. Also, he calls Wise Man Wise Old Man, and I love it. I love how Sasuke's design looks like this. He's just a little angry gremlin robot child, but he's very earnest. I like him. He is the other favorite character of this game, I would say. If you don't play as A all the time, you'll play as Sasuke all the time. Sorry, Goemon and Abysamaru. I'm going to crush those Peach Mountain guys! How dare they have a bad name and do crime! Alright, so the mechanical ninja Sasuke joins forces with Goemon. We now have everything we need to get to the next dungeon, because he is our method of destroying walls. Or cracked walls, anyway. Also, Sasuke's tiny, so he just does this when he swims. I love this animation so much. Alright, so Sasuke attacks with a kunai. We'll see how that goes in a bit. He's also got those bombs, which, like Goemon tossing money, that also costs 1 Ryo to use. It's not really a big deal, because, I mean, look at all the money I have, but just don't make it your primary attack, and you'll probably be fine. Alright, so let's attack some enemies. Sasuke, like Yae, is a pretty fast character. And he can just do that. And also, like Yae, he's got a sharp weapon, so if a thing can be sliced in half, he'll slice it in half, which is neat. Alright, and we're back in Bizen. So yeah, I am always confused about the connection between Bizen and Izumo and, you know, all these areas, so I got lost on my dry run a lot, trying to figure out which door led where. But I got it eventually, and whoop, messed up the buttons. We should let Sasuke have this one. I just wanted to switch back to my weapon. And there we go, Golden Fortune Doll. So that's another heart. I mean, hey, even though this doesn't do the Zelda thing where you get, like, the guaranteed heart at the end of dungeons, I'm still climbing up there in my heart gauge. Got a lot of them. Alright, and the other cracked wall is just a normal fortune doll. It's still good. But we need 3 more of them. Alright, there we go. I think that's all I need to collect before we head off to the dungeon, so I should be going back to Izumo. Every time. I don't know why that enemy amuses me so much. Okay, there we go. Akiya showed... hey! No, I'm not going to pronounce it because it's not in front of me anymore. Anyway, here's a big sprawling map. It actually does look pretty cool. Yeah. I like the way this mountainous area looks. But, like I said, not going to be exploring much of it. Also, yeah, the kites have butts on them. Paper-thin butts. You should be disappointed. But yes, we're just going to go straight over to this area. And, like people have been saying, there's actually a barrier preventing us from going to the next region. But, while there's a barrier in one direction, we can actually find the place that's causing said barrier to exist. It does look like a gigantic wall from here. It also looks like that food's very bouncy. But we can find something else. It's the entrance to Shuhodo. Well, how handy. Nobody blocked this off. Got a very ominous cave here, but not a very expansive area. Unlike the last one. Can't pick that up for some reason.
It eludes you.
It's a pretty quick walk over to the next dungeon, which should be right around the corner, I believe. Not really much to this area, other than just a lead up to the next dungeon, which you can't actually enter without Sasuke, so if you didn't know you could rescue Sasuke, well, you're gonna have to do that. Otherwise, you're not gonna be entering Festival Temple Castle. How are you supposed to figure out that you can't enter it without Sasuke? You figure it out. That's on you. Explore, little nerd. Come on.